So today it's fucking cold out. I'm gonna go cut some firewood, and I thought I'd make a video that was related to my firewood setup and some of the stuff that I use. And I don't really have a great firewood setup, and I've kind of fucked my back up over the years. But as I've been getting older, I've been trying to make my life a little bit simpler. And you know, when it comes to dealing with firewood, because the less effort you have to put in, the better. So I used to, years ago, that's all I had. I had just had a wood furnace in the house. And I mean, I had like at least a 10 quarter year firewood habit. I used to do everything the hard way. I still do everything the hard way, but I've made like a couple improvements with that. So what we'll do is we will switch to the pickup truck and kind of give you an idea of the mistake I made there. Here it is. It's a 2001 F350 7.3 Powerstroke. Thing's a piece of shit. It runs pretty good. I bought it as kind of a project. The body was totally fucked up. Anybody from like the Northeast knows that, you know, any type of truck, it's gonna have some age on it. The body and frame are totally fucked up. It's funny, you look at some of these like Facebook groups and guys from different areas of the country, and they got a little bit of surface rust on the frame, you know, like out west or somewhere down south, and they talk about how bad it is, but obviously they've never been here. So I had to have the cab corners done on it and the rockers. Had a guy rebuild the whole thing. I think that was about $3 grand right there. And then the bottoms of the doors were fucked up, and I was able to find some good doors locally for about, I think, $750 or $1,000 for all of them. And that's really typical of these trucks in the area. You're going to see, you know, just totally roached out bodies on them. And the guy that I bought it off of, he had put that flatbed on there. I picked the truck up for $3,500. It's a 4-wheel drive, single rear wheel, 1 ton. So I figure it was fairly decent deal, especially in the truck market of the last year. You know, these trucks used to be, you know, $1,000, $2,000 or something like that. And even $3,500 ain't bad for a 1-ton 4-wheel drive. And but like if you look online, I mean, the stuff is just, it's gone stupid what people are paying for stuff in the last year for vehicles, especially these ones, guys. I think it's just the greatest, most reliable engine ever. And I mean, frankly, it is a reliable, long-lasting engine, but it requires, you know, they require some maintenance and stuff. So I think people conflate when it comes to these reliability. They use the word reliability instead of the word overbuilt and durable, because these are reliable, but they also require some maintenance. So I haven't started this thing, I don't know, for a week or so. I think it's about 20 to 25 degrees out today. So we're going to see what good luck we have when it comes to starting it. I didn't plug it in or anything. It's been very good for me as far as starting. So let's see what we get out of it. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So what I'm going to do here is I got to let the truck warm up a bit, and we got to turn it around, and I'm going to unload some shit out of it, and then I'm going to go get a load of wood today. Oh, it ain't bad. I keep telling myself I hated it while I was working on it, but it fucking works. It's got that fucking $30 industrial tractor paint job on it. Good enough for me, buddy. I ain't no pretty truck kind of guy. This motherfucker's good. I can fucking put a dent in it or get it filthy, and it don't break my heart, you know? So that sounds good to me. Good firewood truck and good for everything else I need to use it for. Ain't no cowboy Cadillac. Huh. Also, the windshield wiper works. Those work good. but my pisser don't work on there. And we followed the wire down. I replaced the pump, followed the wire down. Still wasn't shooting out the juice. Relay working. I just jumped it and I got my special push button pisser there. There we go. That works. What I think though is I had to take the bumper off of this to put the fender on, and there was some shit going on down in the wiring in that front light, and I wonder if that ground for the where the pump is at, I wonder if the ground was fucked. But I had already put the push button in before I even had thought about that. I already kind of made up my mind that I wasn't going to try and chase a problem out of it and just fucking go around it, because it don't matter. And yeah, that's probably actually it. Is just the ground is fucked on that. But we're already where we're at, so fuck it. Here's the splitter. This thing started life as a Case 155 garden tractor, and then a like a 3-point I-beam or 3-point hitch I-beam and cylinder that I found at the scrap yard. Everybody's got a story about how they built their own fucking splitter. Well, I got one too. I went through like a phase where I just wanted to kind of try and build everything that I could on my own and learn some stuff, and I picked up a welder. And what did I think that I could build that would work great for me? And I decided I wanted to build this splitter, so I just got one of those little kits with the pump and the Lovejoy couplings, and ended up buying just like the basic hydraulic reservoir there. Cut all the shit off of this frame. I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. And then we kind of made something work here with the control, and then just used a one of those Harbor Freight Predator engines. That thing's great. I mean, it starts fucking up and you just go get another one instead of monkeying around trying to repair it. I fuck with engines all day. I just frankly don't want to deal with them on my time off. I just want to get my wood split, so I just every couple of years end up putting another one of them fucking things on there. This cylinder's, everything's worked out pretty good on this. I think I paid $150 for the cylinder. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago now. And the only thing I ever had to do was have the seals. Took it down to hydraulic shop and had them hone it and put seals in it. Hoses are getting a little longer in the tooth, so I was thinking about replacing them this year. Now this fucking frame, this came off a 155 Case tractor. Ended up, there was some guy lived out the road here, and he was kind of a knucklehead, and it sat up in the yard, up in his farm there for like, he said it sat up there for like 30 years. Well, he drug it out of the field and threw it on the back of my truck and brought it home, and I had it running. I had it running that afternoon after it fucking sat. I mean, I never hardly did anything to it. Just cleaned the points, cleaned the carburetor up, put a battery in it, and that fucking thing ran after it sat up in the field for 30 years. But it had so many compounded issues with it. It was never going to make a good tractor or anything useful at all. So I sold the parts, a lot of the good parts off of it, and then ended up just using the frame because it was what I had around instead of trying to get something else. Although it's not the best, because that, you know, whatever, it's not the best for a log splitter, but this thing's mostly stationary for me anyways, and the log splitter's been pretty damn practical for me. It works good. It's simple. It's all off-the-shelf parts. There's nothing fucking special about it at all, and that's what I like about it. And I'm not trying to haul it down the highway or anything. I just leave it up here, leave it over here at my house, over in my driveway, and it fucking works good. And that's it. Now, everybody says in life that as you get older, you start to realize that it's the little things in life that make life worth living. And I got to tell you, this thing right here, a Pickeroon, is such a simple tool, but man, it makes loading and unloading simple and easy. And dealing with wood, I'm not a pro at it. I just started using one this year, and it makes the handling of the wood a lot simpler. I started to realize after using it that a lot of the pain that I would get in my lower back and hips was a result of the reaching when it comes to like the reaching and bending and lifting. And this thing really, you can eliminate a big percentage of it. I'm going to try and get like a short video here, like some of the action shots of me using it. I'm just here by myself right now, so we'll see what we could do. But it's called a pickeroon or a hookeroon, and I stock them at the shop. I think they're 16 inch. This is a 28 inch and a 36 inch. I've just been using this 28 so far, but I got to tell you, man, it certainly makes a hell of a difference in the loading and unloading of things. Let me see if I can get this phone set down here and kind of get a video of me fucking around with this. And like I said, I'm not a pro when it comes to this shit, but so don't fucking quote me on any of this or any of these behaviors. But the main thing is the desire to learn. See, I told you I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So we got the thing off the back of the truck, and we're just going to yank all these sumbitches out of here. truck's warmed up now. I guess it's warmed up as what, 15 quarts of fucking oil and 11 gallons of coolant or some shit can get just from sitting there idling. Now, they say that firewood warms you at least 3 times. Once when you cut it, once when you move it, once when you fucking burn it. Well, I agree with that. I'm warmed up too. Just from unloading that truck. The Pickeroon makes it a lot easier. Makes it a lot simpler to unload shit. And like I said, I still really haven't developed a great technique with it. I just started using it within the last 2 weeks. So I'll tell you a little bit about my little firewood habit. Like I said, years ago, I used to burn a lot of wood, at least 10 cords a year. And I used to help my neighbor. I got a good neighbor over there, and him and I would work together. And what ended up happening was I got a heat pump put in, because whenever I bought my house, I had to do a bunch of work to it and needed a furnace, so I just put a wood furnace in. Never did put central air in it until I put that heat pump in, because I wanted central air, so I said, fuck it, you know, while you're in there, put a furnace in there too, you know. And so we and at that time I was kind of doing like the saw business and then working a day job, you know, doing the saw shit on the side. And I just quit burning wood. I got the heat pump put in the spring and ran the air conditioner all winter, and then just clicked it over to heat. Ran the air conditioner all summer and then just clicked it over to heat in the wintertime and didn't look back. But then in the last year or so, I'm looking for something to do in the wintertime, because I'm not working a job and doing the saw shop too. I'm just doing the saw shop, so I got some spare time. I always did like cutting firewood, but it was kind of a chore after you're burning so much and you're a slave to that fucking thing. But now it's more by choice. So I started to choose to do it this year, I guess. And I've been kind of on the hunt lately for some like standing dead shit. A lot of the ash trees over the last few years. Ash is already dry as hell, even alive. It's almost ready to burn, basically. And then with that beetle that went through here over the last few years, pretty much all of them are dead now. I have one up at my old place, and that fucking tree, like, there was no other ash trees around it, like in the immediate area. And that thing held on for years, and I thought, well, maybe that beetle will never get to it. Well, it finally did a couple years ago, and then I think last year, well, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we finally ended up cutting it down. But there's still a lot of ash out there that's been standing. And man, if you get it when it's standing dead, that shit is perfect to put in the stove. You don't have to dry it out or nothing. It's ready to go. So I found a little couple stashes of that, couple cords of that this year, and that's what I'm going to be after today. So what we'll do is I'm going to kind of move on to the next part of this this video here, and it's going to be about the saws that I use. So, well, if you ever have one of these fucking trucks, you know one of the caveats with them is that the vacuum system fucking sucks. And unless you want to repair all of it and put new fucking lines in it, and new hubs and fittings and everything, hopefully you're lucky enough to have the manual hubs too, because a four-wheel drive will not fucking work, and it will not engage the hubs if you got a vacuum leak. And they always fucking leak. Well, at least at this age. So thankfully, this fucking thing has the lock-in hubs and the manual lock-in hubs, and I'm just throwing it because it was spinning coming up the hill there, and I'm gonna have a load of wood on here in a little bit, so I figure I'll just throw it in now, and I'm about ready to go down a steep hill, so we'll just fucking do that. But yeah, when I first got this thing, it would just stay stuck in defrost, and everything that's in there, all the positions for the like the HVAC system in the truck, all the different positions are controlled by vacuum. And it's typical that when the fucking vacuum starts leaking at the hubs and the lines, everything's fucked after that, and it just gets stuck on defrost. It sounds strange, but it's all kind of tied in together. And the reason it gets stuck on defrost is for safety. So in the event that, you know, it quits, it defaults to defrost, so at least you can keep your windshield clean. Because if it was coming out of the vents or whatever, you could get fucked, and the vehicle become unusable. So that's kind of, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But what I ended up having to do was, like, you could just plug, I can't remember what I had to do. I had to plug where it come out of the, well, it burned the vacuum pump up just from pumping all the time. So I put a new pump in there, and believe it or not, I fucking had the auto parts door dashed to me by fucking Advance or something like that. But anyways, what you do is you just plug it, and there's videos on YouTube about it, but you just plug it and then your fucking shit starts working again. But the hubs don't, because all them lines are fucked up. He had to put 4-wheel drive on and there's only dust on the road. I could fucking drive without 4-wheel drive. Dude, pipe down, Jeff. I didn't fucking ask, okay? All right, so now what I'm going to get into is I'm going to show you the saws that I'm going to use. One of them is that 562 that I rebuilt and made the videos about. One of them is like an ancient, it started life as a 365 special, and then it's kind of a 372 or something like that, I guess. Like the older version, like the non-strato version, and it's kind of a mix, I guess. I got a big bore aftermarket cylinder kit. I don't know, it's something I fucked around with years ago, and if I didn't know any better, I'd tell you it had thousands of hours on it. It's got hundreds of thousands of hours on it, but I don't know, I probably got fucking 15 hours on the thing or something like that after I rebuilt it. But it looks like it's got thousands of hours on it, because it was a piece of shit when I got it, and it's still a piece of shit. But it starts every time 6 pulls. I don't care if you leave it sit for 6 months or 6 years. 6 fucking pulls, buddy, and she's going. And then the other one is the Chinatown Holzforma 288. So I've been on this kick with those kits, you know, putting those kits together. And my business partner, Brandon, we ordered one of those 288s, and I kind of let him, we kind of worked together to put it together. I've been wrenching, like he doesn't do a lot of the wrenching. He does a lot of other stuff around the shop, but he'll dabble in the wrenching, and he's got a desire to learn it, but it takes time, and you know, you don't have the opportunities, because I don't do a ton of repair work, so you don't have the opportunities to do a lot of different repairs and things. And those kits are nice because you know, you could take the time, everything's clean, you could, and you know the parts are okay, or for the most part they're going to be okay, and then you could put it together and see how everything works. So anyways, he put it together, and typically another buddy and me, we always fucking talk about when somebody got something for a chainsaw. If a guy got a chubby for a fucking chainsaw, it's the Beaver Fever, buddy. And you could tell after he got that motherfucker, we got that motherfucker all put together, and you rip on it, and it starts right up, it's ready to go. He's over at the fucking shelf grabbing one of those GB bars and a fucking chain. He's getting it all dressed up. You could tell the motherfucker had Beaver Fever, because this guy don't even cut wood. He don't have any need to cut wood, and he's fucking taking it home that weekend. He had a piece of fucking tree fall down, and he's like, I gotta cut this fucking thing up. Now, you know, to cut something that's fucking this big around, you got to get that 288 going. I mean, that fucking thing's been sitting there forever, so now it's important to get it cleaned up. Yeah, definitely got to get it cleaned up. That's nothing to do with the chainsaw. Dude, it's fucking Beaver Fever. All right, so I'm going to go and grab what I got there, and we'll get them setting out. And kind of at a spot here where I'm going to start cutting up something that was standing dead until it fucking fell over. So we'll do a little review of the saws here. Here's that Frankensaw 365 here. There she is. Kind of old reliable. And here's that 562 in that one video. And then here's the Chinatown 288. I had to wipe a little bit of his wad off of it before I put it on the video. Unbecoming. There you go. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is use that 288, because that thing is bigger than it seems. I'm gonna have to split them lengthwise, or cut them lengthwise, and noodle them up to hump them up here, since you ain't fucking helping today. I haven't even tuned that saw, because like I said, we just kind of started it in the shop, and we'll see how she runs. I don't know if I'm gonna make any videos of it running, because I'm here by myself, and it's a lot of work. secret ratio and oil mix that I use. But if you use it, nobody ever argues with you about oil or ratio. It's also known as the perfect mix. You wouldn't believe what I had to give up to get it. That fucking thing ain't too bad. Make a video of it cutting, why not? Yeah, not bad at all. I know this ain't the perfect right tool for the job. I had a cant hook over at the shop and I thought, well, maybe I'll fucking take that with me, but I just brought this today. This is great for just rolling these things out. And the thing is about this too is these are nice and dry because it's dead. So it ain't too much work to roll them over. Now, if it was still alive, oh man, it'd be heavier than hell, you know? But almost all the water's out of this now. It's been in the mid-30s and I've only been burning a couple sticks of this shit every day. I've been working on this tree for a while. And I've only been burning a couple sticks of this. You could damp the stove. There ain't no fucking water in it. You can damp the stove all the way down. Shut everything up in it. It just keeps putting out the heat all day. Come back after work and the whole stove, the whole furnace is still full of coals. Enough to keep a fire going. Just keeps putting heat out. So this has been a great little find of this standing dead shit. So if you ever have any of this stuff that you can find in your territory, in your region, this is where it's at. So this is it. Now, did pretty good. Didn't really hardly get pinched. That's always nice. Getting pinched is always something that you can run into. The more I cut, the less I get pinched. But I gotta say, I never really had anybody teach me. I just kind of learned all this shit the hard way, just like everything else in my life. Okay, so anyways, there's my truck where I'm cutting at. The permit does not allow for you to take your vehicle off the road to make it easier to load, and I wouldn't do it anyways because that truck is too heavy and I'll make a fucking mess. So here's my dilemma. Do I cut the logs in half and noodle them and carry them up the hill? It's just a slight grade. Maybe make a path through that brush. Or I just bring the truck on down to right there and just roll them down. I don't know. I'm going to weigh my options. I've got that one or two that I already kind of noodled there. So maybe I'll try and carry them up to the truck and see how bad I dislike it. And then if I dislike it a lot, maybe I'll try and roll one down and see if I dislike it a little bit less. Don't tell anybody I use pump gas, okay? And also, don't tell them I just put whatever oil I got in there, as long as it's just like a decent quality oil. And don't tell them I just mixed the ratio it says on the bottle. All right? Don't tell them. Wouldn't want anybody to think anything of me, because I'm really concerned about what everybody thinks. Wouldn't want my feelings to get hurt. Had a guy come into the shop the other day. He had a saw. The ring, the piston was so fucking carboned up, the ring was stuck in the ring groove. He showed it to me. I said, "What oil are you running in that, buddy?" And it was some cockamamie oil. And he goes, "I run it 38 to 1. I've never had any problems." Okay. Yeah. Never had any oil related problems. Cool. Just like that, saw's got thousands of hours on it. Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands of hundreds of thousands, even. Yep, I cut a lot of wood with that saw, buddy. Oh, yeah, I cut a a lot of wood with that saw, buddy. Yeah, probably thousands of hours on that one. So anyways, back to the oil shit. I just typically run 50 to 1. Whole industry recommends it. So I just do it because, frankly, I'm not smart enough or dedicated enough to come up with a objective argument as to why not when everybody says to do it. And I mean, if you look at the evidence down there, there it is. That fucking saw's got thousands of hours on it. That should be the telltale right there. I've been running 50 to 1. Thousands of hours on that saw. And there you go. Load of wood. See what you can get done in a few thousand hours in one afternoon. One pickeroon. One chainsaw. Never even had to change the bar. 3 tanks of gas. 2,000 hours. Fucking drop dead reliable the whole time. Well, now I'm gonna go home and make a couple hot sausage sandwiches and throw a little wood in the stove and call it a night. Everything went pretty good. Saws ran good. Never even had to sharpen the chain. I think the truck's still gonna start. Didn't pinch, no injuries. Not bad for an afternoon. And I got to spend it with you. Even though you didn't put one fucking stick of wood in the truck, you just sat there and watched me. Loser.